So I just got done watching the movie Barbarian. Let's talk about it. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Seth Grimes, and I am here with a movie review. Now, this is a spoiler movie review, so if you have not seen the movie, I need you to stop now and go find my non-spoiler review, which will be on the same channel, in the same playlist where you found this, and it'll be non-spoilers. Watch that first, and then after you see the movie, come back and hang out with me here and watch this one. If you have already seen the movie, then we're going to go ahead and get into it. So I welcome you to hang around. So if you have not seen the movie and you do not want it ruined for you, I encourage you to leave now because we're going to get into spoilers right now. You have been warned. So, Barbarian starts out with this girl who is going to Detroit for a job interview. I don't know the name of the actress off the top of my head, and I'm not going to stop the video to Google it or anything. So I apologize. She's a newer actress, and she did fantastic. She really did good as a final girl type actor. She nailed it. You know, horror movies tend to have a lot of B movie actors. Lower level, and there's a little bit of cheese ball to it a little bit, but she did great, man. She carried the role, and I actually expect to see bigger things from her going forward. I expect her to pop up in bigger movies. Speaking of bigger movies, I think this movie is going to probably do really well. It's got crazy word of mouth. If you're watching this and you've already seen it, my guess is that you heard a lot of hype about it going in first, because they don't really tell you anything in the trailer at all. Other than it's scary as fuck and intense and that kind of thing. So it really kind of builds that question around it. And then if you're like me, I went and looked at some of the other non-spoiler reviews, and they were like, you have to see this movie, and I can't tell you anything about it because it'll ruin it. You know what I mean? Which, you know, any spoiler will. But this one in particular, I think, plays well if you don't know what to expect. Because, you know, to me, the ending, I'll just kind of get into it right now, and maybe I'll be a little bit all over the place. I won't necessarily go in order. But I guess my overall thoughts is that I thought the movie did great up front. You know, I felt the tension so much, I actually physically felt anxious. You know, I felt the urge to even just get up and go for a walk or something at some point. Not out of fear, because I didn't find the movie particularly scary. Maybe a couple jump scares got me for sure down in the tunnels with the lady, but it was the tension that they built from the beginning up through, God, probably up till Skarsgård gets killed. Once his head gets against the wall, right? And he bites it, and they do that hard cut to Justin Long. I think, you know, up until then, I was pretty anxious. I don't know about you guys, but they had me by the balls the entire time, dude. It was intense. And they didn't really do anything in that, other than that, that one kill right at the end before the hard cut, you know, to Justin Long. It's all tension. There's nothing really scary in it, and it really points at Skarsgård as being a creeper of some kind, or untrustworthy, and I love that. It all just plays into the tension. And even when down in the basement where he went to go check it out, right? And then, you know, you could hear him. She was like, "Hey, you coming back?" And he's like, "Help, help, help." And he was sounded really far away. I thought he was luring her down, you know, it was really God, they had me everything. And everything's a question, the rope coming out of the wall. What is this? And who opened the door? And why is the door open? And all of these just strange. The guy that tried to attack her at the beginning, the homeless guy that ended up being a good guy, you know, everything kept you guessing and on edge and apprehensive and weren't sure what was going to be around the next corner necessarily, or where the, it was very good. It was probably, I can honestly say I couldn't tell you the last time I felt like that. I've had movies that have made me feel gross, like The Human Centipede. So I guess, they make me feel something. I'm not a particular fan of like the Saws. I feel like they're not the gore, but just the darkness. They're very heavy, you know what I mean? There's no let me up moments. It's one thing I very much appreciated about this is the roller coaster ride, right? Like when Justin Long's character hits the screen, huge rapey douchebag, right? Totally raped that chick. And then tried to kill the main character at the end. Just you're gonna have to. I was like, you motherfucker, you. There's like no redeeming qualities about this guy at all. Just when you you find out he's a rapist, he tells his buddy his story, and you're like, yeah, no, dude, you raped that girl. I know how you're trying to look at it, and you think you see it one way, but that's rape, bro. Very rapey. So, but like he feels bad about it, and like you're like, he even says flat out, like, am I a bad person or am I a good person that did a bad thing? And you almost kind of like, yeah, dude, you're just a fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, you seem like you're all right, but your head's not on straight. You do stupid shit. You're a dumbass. You made a mistake, right? You did a bad thing, but I don't know if you're like an evil person, because it's in the intentions. He didn't even think that he did rape the girl. He was just pushy. You know what I mean? And that's rape. You can't do that. So this motherfucker almost got us to the point where we're like, yeah, you're a douchebag and a scumbag, and I kind of don't like you, but I think I kind of want you to live too. Like, I hope you make it out of this. And then this motherfucker grabs the chick and he had the littlest bit of sympathy, and he threw it over the edge of the water tower like a motherfucker. And it's like, you motherfucker, you. Then he tries to salvage it like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to. I didn't know what I was thinking. And this motherfucker's dropping the gun and dropping the flashlight, and like, oh my God, he's just the biggest fuck up in the whole world. And it just, wow. And he ended up paying for it. He got those fucking eyeballs pushed in. And like, there's not, I was going to say, like I said in the non-spoiler review, but I don't know that you watched that. There's not a lot of gore in this movie, but when they do the gore, it's intense. You know what I mean? So they had me along for the ride, like all the way up until Justin Long comes along. And he was funny, and I appreciated that he broke up the tension, because that first third was tense. Like your butthole's puckered. Like you can't fucking, you ain't. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. But it was tense, right? So they kind of let you down with the Justin Long, and then they do a really good job of building it back up again. He pulls up to this house, and you're like, oh. He starts walking around, and now he's like the fucking Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Like somebody was in his house, and he doesn't know who, and his life's falling apart because he raped a girl, and then like he's an actor, right? Some kind of yeah, he's an actor. And then the tension starts to build again because he's in that house. And now we know what's in this house, kinda. Because we only saw a glimpse of it. We saw it just basically run at and fucking... And it wasn't until this second act where this fool goes downstairs. And by the way, this movie had so many like, what are you thinking? With the main actress especially. It's like, I said this in my non-spoiler review, like Nev Campbell said in Scream. They're always running up the stairs when they should be going out the front door. It's insulting. This was literally like a rage against the screen. Like, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of there. This chick had so many chances to get away, and she fucked them all up and just did stupid stuff. And she couldn't help herself but to go back in and just, god damn. But it made for good tension still, right? And then we find out, like, oh, this creepy thing's, like, trying to make babies out of these people. And, like, literally treating them like a doll baby, right? And tried to feed them the bottle. And this chick's already figured it out. She had been captured. She lived, you know, and she's down there just sucking on that bottle and playing the baby game. And he fucks it all up. He refuses to, but that gets this weird, awkward creature woman to open the cage door that they were trapped in, and she was able to jump up out of the pit while this creature woman was dragging this fucking Justin Long dude to like some back room to teach him how to be a baby and make him suck on her tit. Oh my God, was that disgusting? That was disgusting. That was fucking gross, but it was fun at the same time, right? It was he deserved it, you know. Suck on that tit, bitch. But no, that was gross because she's so nasty. So nasty. And then it does like, so she escapes, and then they do like another hard cut. I don't know if she escapes before or ever after the hard cut. I forgot already. But they do another hard cut that's a throwback to the 80s, and it's the dude from 31, the Rob Zombie movie, and I think he's in 3 from Hell too, right? Yeah, he's in that too. He replaces Sid Haig basically as the third person in the crew for the Rob Zombie Devil Rejects movies. So I popped when I saw that guy because I already know he's a creepy motherfucker. And yeah, he was creepy. He was going to the store to buy like plastic sheeting and fucking diapers. It was awkward, but it was the 80s, you know. He even gets in the car and doesn't put on the seatbelt, and you're like, yeah, it was the 80s. Nobody, oh, fucking seatbelts. What are you, a pussy? You wear your fucking seatbelt, you sissy fucker? Yeah, man, you didn't wear your seatbelt in the 80s. Surprised he didn't have a can of beer in the fucking cup holder too while he was at it, you know. But that was a nice touch, and it also showed that Detroit once upon a time was a poppin' city, because it was. I think like in the up to, you know, through the 70s, right? It was booming. Like, it was a very good city to live in, and then all the factories shut down in the late 70s and then into the 80s, right? And then, yeah, so this kind of depicts like he's in this nice neighborhood, and he's there, and they show him like creeping on a girl. So he's like a stalker, presumably a serial killer, but we don't know for sure. And then he goes down into that basement with his plastic wrap and stuff. So we know that whatever's going on in that basement started with this motherfucker. And by the way, those tunnels have to run underneath the neighbors' houses and shit. So I don't know if he's how he was able to get away with that. And it must go underneath the basement. Yeah, it does, because there's stairs that go down deeper. That would have took a long time to build, wouldn't it? But yeah, and then it kind of cuts back to this chick, like now she wants to go back and save this rapey douchebag, and she'll highly regret that later when he not only shoots her but then throws her off a goddamn water tower. He was the worst, the absolute worst. That there was some ridiculousness to this movie. It was not you know, like that kind of stuff, and you know, just the ridiculous why would you go down there stuff, or the oh no, I'm fumbling my gun, and a lot of very stereotypy stuff like that. But you know, they did a really good job with it. It's just a very well made, very good, fun, unique movie. I don't want to say like the baby thing and the tits and the bottle and stuff was too ridiculous and silly, because it wasn't. It was creepy, but it became like it turned into a Hills Have Eyes movie for me, that in the city instead of in the desert, and that's kind of what it became to me, you know, like weird creature, you know, maybe like a little bit like Wrong Turn-ish. You know, it didn't make it a bad movie. It didn't ruin it for me or anything like that. It just turned into like The Hills Have Eyes in the City, which was still, I mean, it's still a good movie, but all that like tension and anxiety and fear really went away instantly, and it just kind of became like, oh, it's this weird, goofy, you know, we come to find out as an incest child, or a multi-layered incest child. So she's all like deformed and freaky and mentally handicapped, and just wants to kidnap people and hold them as her babies. And maybe she was like in charge of taking care of the babies, because what would happen was this weird creepy guy from the Rob Zombie movies in the 80s comes back, and we find out that he takes girls down there, rapes girls. I don't know if he kills them then or just holds them till they die, or I don't know what the fuck happens then. And then they have babies, and then he rapes the babies when they're old enough to have kids, I guess. I don't know. And then they had babies, and then maybe he raped those ones too. I don't know. And now we're just getting into disgustingness. And then that guy's still alive, but he's like bedridden, and he kills himself. I don't know, he's got like a bunch of tapes of all his rapes and stuff. The Justin Long character figures this, you know, plays the tape and finds it. And that's how they get the gun. They take it from this guy. And then, you know, at the end, it even kind of kept me on my toes, because I didn't fully trust, know if I could trust the homeless person. I didn't fully know if I could trust those cops who really didn't give a shit. So they see this chick, she was all raggedy, looking like a crackhead, and she's like, oh, yeah, there's kidnapping me in there. There's somebody who's going to get killed. They're like, yeah, you crackhead fuck, get the hell out of here. It's Detroit. So it was totally accurate that they did that. And then, like, there was some absurdity with Justin Long, like, literally, like, when he threw her over the water tower, I literally was just, I almost laughed. Like, I think I might have laughed, actually, out loud. Because it's completely absurd. Like, what are you doing, dude? Just out of nowhere. And so, like, it wasn't bad. It was, I'm not... I say that because when I say it was so absurd, that might sound negative. I thought it made it fun. It wasn't scary. It added just, again, that little touch of comedy in there, because it's almost laughable, but not in like a, oh, you guys became cheesy way or anything like that. It just, that character and everything he does was the tension reliever, the comic relief. Yeah, and then it ends just super abruptly, because the chick, she pulls out the gun and she shoots the creature in the face, and then just walks away. That's it. Done. The creature didn't seem to register what the gun was, or I don't know, was hoping that she could talk her out of it. I don't know. Like, she put the gun to the cheek or whatever. And the creature was just like, baby. And that's really all she could muster up before she got shot in the fucking face. And then that was the end. It was just like, boom, credits. And then they just show her like walking off into the fucking sunrise, as the credits roll. I thought it was a really good movie, so I would have waited, I guess, instead of paying for a ticket to a movie. I probably would have waited to go see it, see it on streaming, but I would have been looking forward to it. Like, this movie did not suck at all. I thought it was really great. It just, I felt a little bit of like air got let out of the room after it became like the inbred creature. You know what I mean? Because then it just became something I've seen before, and it let go of that tension. So now I just go, okay, so now there's a freak that they got to escape from that's inbred and wants to like make them her children and will violently kill them if they try to run or something. So that's the Hills Have Eyes, isn't it? It's the same movie, but it takes place in Detroit and has a lot of more suspense and tension and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I think of it. I would love to hear if you have different opinions, if you saw it differently, if you think it's like the scariest shit of all time, because that's kind of how it was built up. And it certainly was for like the first half, and not even that anything scary happened. They just did a fantastic job of tension building. Do we trust this person? Do we not trust this person? So there was a lot of that stuff, but they did little things in the beginning. Like they kept, every time she would lock the door, right? She did it like 3 times. And then she went to bed after getting a little tipsy and drunk and having a good night with Skarsgård, and she forgot to lock the door. And they focused in on that. But even if they hadn't even focused in, it would have registered with me, because they made a point to show you at the camera that she was locking the door the first 2 or 3 times that she went into a room. You know, she was always like uncomfortable or creeped out, so she wanted to always lock the door behind her, and she didn't when she went to bed. And sure as shit, the door opened, but that built tension, because that made me go, oh no, you left the fucking door open! God damn you! And I thought they were going for more of like he's gonna lock her in this room and just watch her on the camera or rape her, I guess. I thought he would have been doing what the Rob Zombie dude was doing. I haven't felt that way in a while, and one of the better horror movies I've seen in a long time, but I don't know that it lives up to the hype that I had heard online, as far as like, I've literally heard so many YouTubers that were like shaken and uncomfortable with this movie, like, you know, and like say it's like just scary balls to the wall, like, you know, nightmare basically. And it was up to a certain point, and then it wasn't, you know. And that's just my opinion. If you're watching this by chance because you're one of those sick fuckers that wants to be spoiled by everything and you're still gonna go see it but you haven't yet, but you watched this anyway, you're a sick bastard. First of all, get help. Second of all, I would give this like a solid 3.5 out of 5. You know, it's not like a 3 or a 2 or anything like that. You could push me to go 4. I don't know if I'm being... Yeah, no, 4 is too much. 3.5. It's 3.5. 3 3/4 if you're nasty with it. That's kind of where I sit with it. What are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments. Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me? Do you totally disagree and I'm an asshole? Let me know what you think. Peace, love, and pizza. I am your boy, Seth Grimes, and we'll catch you in the next review.